customer within Contact, had many, many changes over the last, especially 14 months. Does a great job assisting people. We have Whit, Chris, Brandon, and Phil in Heart and Mind. From the Omilia team is Kyle, Quinn, and Humam. Probably said that wrong. And the Muhammad, sorry. And I brought them in because of I think they're going to help solve your solution, what you're looking for. But I do want to take a second and introduce you to Kayla Dozer. She is my new senior sales engineer, and she is not new, but to me she is, and she's wonderful. I am so thrilled to have her. We've worked together now for a couple weeks, and I've brought her in, to make sure she hears the conversations about your needs and will help us. But the Omilia team is really going to be the one to lead the pack. When you reached out and you said you needed some AI, it's always my favorite request from customers because it means so many different things, right? So thanks, Brandon, for, when we talked about you want AI in your IVR and chat solutions, right? Kind of conversational. That's what I look. How do I know when to bring them in? And as soon as I hear the word conversational, I think of the Omilia team and what they bring to the table. So, RentPath team, do you want to correct anything I've said? And I'll let the Omilia team take it on with their questions.
Hey, Julie, this is Whit. I think that was a great intro. Only thing I would say, I think there's a good chance your description will wind up being exactly what we want. In fairness, I think we can just describe a little more broadly, like our primary pain point right now is our chat solution uses either your chat widget or a widget that integrates with you all. And our solution, our technology stack on our end is you all plus our lead management system, which is what our agents reference when they are looking at all the information about the communities that they are either on the phone about or in a chat session about. So right now, at the moment, we don't have multi-threaded chat. When an agent is on a chat, that's all they're doing. It's not very efficient. We're obviously in parallel trying to solve for that on our technology. But what we want to do is find a technology that can reduce the effort required by our human agents on each chat. And so it seems like from the little bit of homework we've done that conversational AI is the hot option to do that. But we're open to any ideas that would either divert a portion of live chat completely from agents or just minimize the duration that an agent is required to interact directly with a prospect. Does that help?
Yep.
Great.
Yep. Okay. Kyle, do you and team want to take it? We've also, like I said, if we need a little different conversations about chat, we've got Kayla on the call as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate that little bit of background. So yeah, thanks team, and appreciate your time today. So here, let me go ahead and turn my video on so you at least can see who you're talking with today. Yeah, so what we're going to show you today basically is we're going to run you through some slides just to give you an introduction to our company and a background on our solution. But ideally from there, we'd like to jump straight into the demos of our solution to really show you examples of what our technology is capable of here. Speaking to your need for both chat, I know Julian mentioned to me that you guys are interested in automating both chat and IVR. So we're actually going to show you some examples of both where we've automated both and really talk through some of your use cases. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying I'm excited to talk to you guys as a real estate rental company because I am a reformed real estate agent of 7 years. So I know the business quite well, and I know the headaches and pitfalls that come with it and what customers ask. So I can certainly understand the use case and understand the need to get as much information to your agents about what they're looking for before your live agents take over and start sending them options. So so basically that's the plan for today. As Julie mentioned, we are a conversational AI company, and we like to keep our demos conversational, so please do feel free to interrupt at any time with questions that you may have. And otherwise, please let me know if there's any questions before we begin, but I'll go ahead and jump into our slides if that's okay.
Sounds great.
Great. Thank you so much. Just one second here. So I'm going to go ahead and just make this nice and big here. So, as Julie mentioned, we are focused on conversational AI. I think it's important to preface that by saying that is really all we do. This is not just one small segment of our business. All we do is conversational AI for contact centers, and we are a true omni-channel solution. So, it's you can use Omilia and deploy Omilia across any channel that you wanted to. We mentioned IVR, we mentioned web chat. We can also include text message, social media messaging, WhatsApp. We can really operate on a number of channels as your business may expand those with those customer care channels. But for the meantime, we can certainly assist on both the IVR and web chat channels in the short term. Really just to jump into what makes us great when it comes to working with NICE inContact as well is that as a NICE inContact partner, we have near native integration into the CX1 solution. So, you're not taking a gamble and hoping that the solution is going to be able to work functionally or work smoothly with your CCaaS platform. You can basically know that it is going to work because we have done this before with a number of other NICE inContact customers. And one of those benefits is another one of those benefits with NICE inContact is because we are that partner. If you were to engage our services, it could go all on NICE inContact paper. You're not contracting with a separate vendor and paying a separate vendor. It just all goes nice and smooth through your existing NICE inContact relationship. And now today, just to give you an overview on the Omilia solutions for NICE inContact, we offer our conversational voice and chat, as well as our instantly deployable mini apps solutions that you can consider microservices. We'll talk a little bit more about that and what those mean. But at the end of the day, just to paint a broad brush here, pretty much whatever you're looking to accomplish in the IVR, whether it be that collecting that information and routing to the correct agent or providing some levels of self-service within the IVR or web chat, we can help with. And just to really touch on Omilia as a company, our goal is human-like conversations. You want that web chat experience or that IVR experience to be like they're engaging a human agent, even if they are not. So we are really focused on delivering that human-like experience in the IVR and web chat. And very importantly, when it comes to a human-like experience, that requires a high level of accuracy. If the web bot or if the bot, virtual agent, you name it, is failing a large percentage of the time, then you're not going to really be able to deliver on that increased call containment or web chat containment or data collection that you're looking to accomplish because the solution just isn't able to hit those levels of accuracy. And every percentage of increased accuracy you can deliver is going to mean more operational cost savings for your contact center. And we have the capability of handling hundreds of intents within the IVR or web chat, meaning pretty much no matter what way your customers choose to speak to the Omilia solution, we can understand it and get them to the right place. Part of this also includes, and part of our proprietary technologies include our pre-built industry packages. You can think of these as encyclopedias of intents and understandings and entities for particular business verticals, including a universal vertical, where we can train the system on day one with a basic understanding of business terminology. So when you're developing that NLU, you're not starting from scratch. You're not teaching it the most basic terminology in any business. We really give it that understanding to get it about 70% of the way there. And the remaining percentage of development is focused purely on hyper customizing it to your business. And I do want to stress that is a huge factor when it comes to conversational AI. If it is not tuned to work best with your business practices and the way your customers speak to your business, you're not going to be able to deliver on that high level of accuracy. So that's just a crucial aspect of our development. And then finally, just as Omilia as a company, we are not a startup. We've been around for quite a while in developing conversational AI solutions since 2008. And we have customers in over 16 countries and currently support over 24 languages. So, we have the experience and background to know how to develop and deploy these types of solutions successfully. And just briefly to touch on what it means to have that better customer experience. I know we touched on some of these, but when it comes to delivering that better customer experience, that means delivering more automation within the IVR and the web chat. That means decreasing the handling time by making sure the caller or the chatter can get through those, instead of having the traditional menu items, we're flattening that out and we're helping them get to where they need to go faster. And then, of course, it helps you future-proof the experience. As if you start on day one with a with a basic system with a few functionalities, you're not limited to those functionalities. Omilia is capable of continuing that development, adding additional features, adding additional self-services as needed for RentPath, and as we develop more and more features for our solution, continue to grow that solution and increase containment over time. And as previously mentioned, we are a develop once, deploy everywhere solution. So, no matter what channel you're operating on, our platform can utilize the same natural language understanding and business flow logic to serve any channel. So if you do go from, say, start with the IVR and then develop web chat, and then say later you want to add a mobile app interface, for example, all of that is very capable without having to start from scratch each time. And then additionally, I do want to touch, because web chat is another feature that you were interested in. Our web chat is very customizable, and because it is a visual interface, unlike the IVR, we're able to add additional features that really make the user experience more friendly and more visually impactful for the customers. So with that, we can provide live information on the chats. We can do those back-end API calls, and pretty much anything that is customized can be customized using HTML5 for the web chat. So we can really tune the experience to exactly what you're looking to deliver for your customers. And then we also employ machine learning to help train the bot in its understanding. This includes not just utilizing the information we've provided to the solution to train it, but we can use that machine learning to grow that understanding, expand that understanding, and continue to capture and understand more and more different utterances that your customers may be providing to the solution. And I do want to touch on this because I think it's going to be important for your business use case, because you would like to pull information from a back-end system in order to provide it to customers live. We have the ability to integrate with APIs for back-end systems, and we have a flexible Java layer to assist with that. So really, when we're showing the customer care experience, and you'll see it in our demos, we're able to call that information live within the context of the web chat or the IVR and deliver that information quickly to the consumer. And then finally, just to touch on our mini app solution before we do get into the demo, these are our microservices. So what they do is they solve for simple use cases and data collection. So just as an example, how many bedrooms are you looking for? We are able to collect information, numeric, alphanumeric, and the like, to deliver that information back to your existing CX1 Studio flow and collect it very easily without a lot of coding or deployment, work to deploy the solution. They're pre-integrated for CX1. They require minimal to no coding, and they are near instantly deployable, so you can get the service up and running faster and develop from there. And we'll be showing you that as well on our demos. And at that point, I'm going to pause because I know I've been talking a lot. I just want to see if that met your expectations. If there was anything that I missed that you would like me to touch on as well, feel free to let me know at this point.
We may have a few more questions, but a couple. First, would you back up to the omni-channel slide? I'm trying to take notes as I go, and I don't think I got to look at that one. This one, yes.
No, absolutely.
And then while I'm digesting this, the other question was, I think on a subsequent slide, I may have seen something saying, if somebody wants to, can they go from a chat session to a phone call?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Quinn, I don't know if you'd like to expand on our channel switching abilities for our chatbot.
Yeah, certainly. So hi, everybody. This is Quinn Egan, VP of Business Development at Omilia. They're basically what we call channel continuity. So you do have the ability to switch from one channel to another, essentially pretty seamlessly. So it really depends on the use case in which channel you're switching from. So certainly you could be conversing on the phone, and we could send you a link to continue the conversation in a text message or within your mobile app, for example, or even on the website. If you're on the website, you can be conversing with the chatbot there, and basically provide for a transition from web to telephone. That could be basically delivered in a couple fashions, whereby you can have a click to call from the website, or you can arrange for an outbound call essentially from the platform to then get in touch with the customer. When I talked about the use cases, that is very much referring to, so really at the top of all this, right, we're asking, as you can see sort of there in that image on the right, we're asking the how may I help you question. So that's where everything starts. Typically, when we we'll deploy the how may I help you intent and for essentially what would be a phase one. And from there, we build out more and more intents based on all of the new data, I should say production data, that we're getting into the system. And this all drives the machine learning. But just to go back to your question, there is channel continuity. It just depends on how you want to orchestrate it.
Got it. And then just seeing social, does that mean like you can integrate this with the Facebook chat widget or Facebook Messenger?
Absolutely. We could show you a demo of that if there's time today. But yeah, so we've essentially we have the concept of a connector, and we can build essentially an infinite number of connectors, but connectors that we have out of the box today include Facebook Messenger, which, as you may probably know, is also now integrated with Instagram. So it's essentially one and the same. Also, what else do we got? What else have we done? Viber, Telegram, WhatsApp. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few more. But if there's a social media beyond Facebook and Instagram, if you wanted to do Twitter, we have done Twitter DMs before as well. So we could support that in as long as it's a one-to-one conversation within a messenger thread.
Cool. Okay.
Any other questions before we move on to the demos?
Not for me.
Sounds good. Okay, then if that's the case, then I will go ahead and pass it over to Mohammed. I think, and Quinn, tell me if you want to take a different approach, but I think maybe we start with the IVR and we show our ABC Healthcare and Insurance to give them a taste of what that voice experience sounds like.
I was thinking, why don't we go with, so one question to the team. Do you all have, in your call center, do you have a decent amount of recallers, would you say? Are you authenticating a lot of your callers as they call in? From that perspective, can anybody speak to that to some extent?
Are you referring to like people calling back for the same issue?
Just so essentially, the question is, do you have an authentication process when folks call in? And then the second question would be like, how often do folks call in?
No, we don't authenticate. So it's inbound leasing. So it's just whoever calls is calling. If there is a call back, we will do a matching of phone number on Max Lease's side so that we can merge two files.
Okay.
But it's not like a credit card company where you would call in and authenticate who you are. No.
Right. Right. Okay. Well, then in that case, I think what would be best is, yeah, Kyle, let's do the healthcare and insurance demo. And then, well, you know what, for consistency, Kyle, do the bank, just because, and the reason I'm saying this, folks, is because the banking demo gives a great taste for the type of experience that you can provide from a conversational perspective. But Kyle will also then after be able to show you the same application deployed for web chat. So you'll see the same virtual assistant experience that he'll show you for the IVR, also for web chat, so you can see how that consistency plays out across channels.
All right, and sorry, Kyle, were you saying something, Kyle?
Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry, that I am. I was asking Mohammed. I have the ABC demo up to go, unless you have it already set.
Yeah, I can run through ABC Bank, IVR, and then the web chat as well. I can do both. Yeah.
Okay, great. Do you have the text escalation so we can show them that setup, or?
Give me 1 second. You're talking about the web chat, correct?
For the IVR where we show the text out. If not, I have that ready to go.
Yeah, so then maybe you want to run through it. I don't have the phone set up.
No worries at all. Okay, great. So let me go ahead and share my screen again with everybody. There you go. So can everyone see my screen now?
Not yet. Oh, there it is.
Okay, cool. So what you're going to see, actually, you know what? I think I want to make sure you can actually see my phone screen as well. And I'm wondering if I limited it by only showing that page. So let me reshare real fast. Okay, you should be seeing it in just a moment. There we go. All okay? Cool. Okay.
Yes.
Great. So what we're seeing here, before I jump into the call itself, is our DRT viewer. That's our dialogue review tool. So just to give you an understanding of what this tool does, is it provides a log of all interactions that your customers have with the virtual agent, really across any channel here. So in this case, we're showing you our ABC Bank demo that will show you what the caller experience is like within that IVR for a banking platform. When I call into the solution or to the IVR, you're actually going to see the DRT viewer pop up with a live call here. I'll open it. You'll actually see the call play out and our speech to text engine running in the background. And from there, once the call is complete, I'll be able to walk you through what took place, give you a chance to ask any questions there as well. Does that sound good?
Well, Kyle, I apologize. Very inopportune timing. Could I ask you to pause for maybe 3 minutes? I just have to go let my kid in. And, I'd hate to leave her outside. So I apologize again for the timing. I'll be right back, and we can fire it right up. Thanks.
So I have a quick question for you, just out of curiosity. Is Vanguard one of your clients that's using this engine? Do you know?
I don't believe so.
And I only asked because I got lucky enough to be somebody lifted my identity. So I've been getting all of these great credit cards and security accounts. So I went through an IVR yesterday with Vanguard, and it was an intuitive bot, and it was pretty impressive. So I was just curious if that was this engine.
No, Vanguard. No, not at Vanguard.
Okay.
Hey, all, this is Brandon. I did have a question regarding the segment on the HTML5 and CSS, basically like the placement of where the bot goes, or the AI, if we were to put it on a website, the web bot.
Okay, I think that question would be for, I don't know, Mohammed, if you can address that, and if not, we'll have to take it offline and come back with some more details. Just before that, though, I was going to say to the previous, I didn't catch who was speaking there, if it was Julie or Kayla, but if you'd like to speak to a system, you could call 1-800-DISCOVER. I don't know if you happen to be a Discover card customer.
Oh,
but...
yeah, sorry, that was Chris. I should have said that. Okay, that's great. I actually used to work for American Express, so I'm pretty familiar with Discover and their systems too. Awesome.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. And what was your question regarding the placement exactly?
Yeah, so one of the constraints that we currently have with live chat through In Contact currently is we have only the ability with the dynamic placement, which is kind of the dynamic view where you click on the button, it dynamically opens within the page. It's only absolute bottom right or absolute bottom left. My question being, with your widget, do we have the capability of changing that placement, to say I want it, 70 pixels to the left from the bottom right and, 10 pixels up from the bottom? Do we have that variability to move it around the site? Because a lot of our clients will have other bots and or widgets that typically take up that space, like ADA compliance readers and simple like web form bots, right? And they'll take up that bottom left and bottom right, and we have overlap, and then we end up not being able to deploy the solution because it, is a constraint on other widgets that already exist.
Right, and that's a good question.
Sorry, Mohammed. I can speak to that non-technically. I don't want to interrupt your answer though.
No, I was actually going to say that's a good question. I haven't had that question come up before. I don't see why not, but that's not.
I can address it, Mohammed. Don't worry,
Okay.
because I have seen it before. We've actually implemented it. So, one of the architecture approaches that we can take is if you have, right, because on the website, of course, the screen real estate is limited. So if you have another bot functionality per se on the website, I think the example that you gave was, if I heard correctly, it was something about terms and conditions or something like that. Maybe I misheard, but essentially the approach that you can take is to have, in certain occasions where the unique customer request or the intent corresponds to something that you have, that some type of content, let's say, that is stored or available in another system, in this case a bot, Omilia can integrate with that wherever that content lies, and feed it from within to the customer from within our chatbot interface. So essentially what you end up with is one master bot or concierge bot per se, that leverages other knowledge sources that you may have already on the website and consolidates them into a single conversation string.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think and let me be, I think, more specific in the question. That's good to know. The challenge that we have is it's our customers have their own websites, and they may have widgets that already exist. What I'm looking for is the placement of, let's say the Omilia widget, not to overlap other widgets that exist. AKA, do we have the freedom to place that widget wherever we want on the website with code?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Great, I'm back. Thank you all for waiting, and I caught the tail end of that exchange as well. So I think I'm up to speed.
Perfect, thank you.
Cool.
Kyle, I think you're on mute again. You're again.
Okay, hopefully now I've clicked it 3 times. And hopefully, okay, I think we're good now. Apologies. So yeah, as previously mentioned, I'll call in real quick. It'll show up live here. And then once that call is complete, we can walk you through exactly what took place. So I'm going to go ahead and dial in now.
ABC Bank. What can I do for you today?
Hi, I'd like to get the balance of my checking account and also transfer $200 from my checking account to my savings account.
The balance on your checking account is $28,760. Shall we get started with the transfer?
Yes, please.
And when would you like to schedule the transfer for?
Tomorrow?
Let's review. You want to transfer $200 from your checking to your savings account effective tomorrow, correct?
Actually, can we make it 500 and do it today?
Let's see if I got this right. You want to transfer $500 from your checking to your savings account effective today, correct?
Correct.
Your transfer was successfully completed. Anything else I can help you with?
Yeah, I'm traveling to Europe next week and want to make sure my card works while I'm there.
Your travel plans are now added. Just one thing. I see that we do not have your email address on file. Are you okay if I send you a link via text message to your phone where you can fill in your email?
Sure thing.
Okay, I just sent it. Please click the link and follow the instructions to fill in your email. If you're having trouble, press 0 to be transferred to an advisor.
So let me turn this down real quick while the whole music is on and mute that so I don't trip up the call. So I just received that text message. When I did, I was able to click it, open it up, and I'm going to go ahead and enter in my Gmail account right now. Look, it's submitted.
If you're having trouble, press 0 to be transferred to an
Apologies.
advisor.
Yeah, it looks like it's glitching just a little bit. Let me try calling in one more time and completing that.
To ABC Bank. What can I do for you today?
Hi, I'm traveling to Europe next week and want to make sure my card works while I'm over there.
Your travel plans are now added. Just one thing. I see that we do not have your email address on file. Are you okay if I send you a link via text message to your phone where you can fill in your email?
Sure.
Okay, I just sent it. Please click the link and follow the instructions to fill in your email. If you're having trouble, press 0 to be transferred to an advisor. Just to confirm, your email is kyle.sennish@gmail.com, correct?
Correct.
We're all set then. Thank you for letting us know about your trip. We'll ensure the uninterrupted use of your card. Is there something else I can do for you?
Nope, that'll be all. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thanks for using our service.
Great. So at that, the call is completed and it goes ahead and terminates because there's no route out, intents, or self-services. And apologies, I'm going to jump back to that first call with the beginning of the conversation here. And just really quickly walk you through a few things that took place and give you an understanding of what you're looking at here. So right at the top, you can actually see all of the information about the call itself. You can see my phone number, the date and time stamp, the application. Right here, we actually provide a list of every event that took place in the call. So you can actually see in order every service that was completed in order. And of course, all of this information can be exported for analytics purposes. If you have an existing analytics service with Nice and Contact, you can certainly leverage all of this data to help you, really better understand what's taking place in your IVR or web chat and act on that data. But then jumping down into the call itself, as Quinn mentioned during our presentation, we like to start with a "How may I help you?" type question at the top of the call. In this case, what can I do for you today? And I provided a dual intent. So, one unique thing about the Omilia solution is we're able to process 2 customer utterances or rather 2 requests by the customer in one single utterance. In this case, one was to get the balance of my account, and then the other was to make a transfer. And now, excuse me, I do want to point out, in this case, it is a banking application. It is verifying based on our voice biometric solution, but obviously if you're don't need to authenticate, there's no need to ask any authentication questions in the IVR. Just wanted to let you know that's what's taking place here. From there, it provides me that balance and then jumps into that second request, which is the transfer. And right off the bat, it asks me when I'd like to schedule it. I like to point out one thing about our solution is its ability to understand the language goes beyond just understanding the actual words, but also understanding which words to disregard. So I think I said tomorrow because I needed to think about it. It's able to identify hesitation phrases like that and disregard them to ensure it doesn't trip up the speech to text and NLU. So from there, it goes ahead to confirm that transfer, and I actually make two changes in one utterance. I change both the amount and the day, and I don't even have to specify $500 or change $200 to $500. Because the virtual agent has contextual understanding, it's able to actually understand that that must be the monetary amount I'm switching to, and that the day change was relevant to the previous tomorrow utterance for the transaction date. And then from there, I make both those changes. It reconfirms exactly what I want to do, and I'm able to complete that transfer successfully. Now, I do want to just jump over to show you that escalation from the IVR to that text message solution. So again, in this case, it asked me what I could, how I could be helped today. And I say the same thing. I say I'm traveling to Europe next week, and I just want to make sure my card works while I'm over there. And again, it's verifying me in this case with that voice biometric, so it's able to complete without any authentication questions. But it notices that when it pulls my information and compares it to the file, that I'm missing an email address. And at that point, it's able to confirm whether it can send me a text message to fill in my email. And it goes ahead and does that. And I received that text message, was able to fill that in. And just like that, it's able to confirm my email back to me within the IVR, near instantaneously after receiving, and adds that back to the backend database. So you can see how this could be a very powerful tool to collect maybe any additional information from customers or callers or anyone chatting outside of the exact channel that they're operating in. And all of that can be programmed. So in this example, it was just an email address. You can include really any type of information that you'd like to collect from a customer in that type of text message field. So I'll pause there just to see if there was any questions from what you saw here.
One, just out of curiosity, I don't think it's going to be relevant to us, but I was unaware that voice biometric authentication was something that was going on. For folks that want to use that, do you have to give any disclaimer to the users, or are you able to just use that as the authentication method?
So it'll vary. Obviously there are laws around this, but effectively how we
You have to get consent.
What was that?
To Kyle's point, it does vary a little bit, but your attorneys will tell you that you should get consent. In some states, more specifically California, Illinois, and Washington, D.C., you need explicit consent for the voice biometric bit.
Yep.
Understood.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I don't think that one's relevant to us. I was just sort of curious. So maybe should have held that one for later. I'll see if any other folks on our team have questions about this one. I guess I want to make sure I don't prevent you from showing any other parts of the demo, but I sort of want to wonder aloud. Today, we're very focused on capturing a few elements of what we call the guest card from callers, just because the way that we deliver our service is leads, and I think the expectation is those will have name, phone number, and email address. And like I said, I'm wondering aloud or thinking aloud, if we were going to start with as general a prompt as "How can I help you today?" we could do sort of what I have thought of as progressive disclosure, where the more invested the caller is in getting information, the more we could ask of them. But I guess the reason I bring up that rambly question is I'm curious if you have other clients that have a similar need and how they've addressed it.
Yeah, I can speak to that. So we do. We have we actually the meeting I was just on was a project meeting related to this. It's a health. Well, they're basically like sort of like a Travelocity, but for healthcare, more or less. And their whole business is sales. So a lot of their call center operation is building, customer profile. So certainly we understand the use case. The reason that we start with the "How may I help you" question is because we want to get users there's a few reasons. We want to get users speaking naturally, which obviously, starting your experience with a how may I help you question is a good way to do that. But also giving them the opportunity to just tell you exactly what it is, why they're calling. So, not trying to think about, how to classify what they had in their mind into the options that, you've provided them on the phone. So that's why we start with the how may I help you. And the other reason why we start there is because it's very quick to deploy. So much so that you can have the how may I help you and the announcements and disambiguations, which you'll see. I think we should get over to Mohammed so that you guys can see how this works actually. But so you can basically, modify your questions and your announcements. But just so that we're clear in terms of building a profile of incoming customers, what we can offer today is numeric, alphanumeric. What else am I forgetting? Beyond the intent. Hang on a second.
Date as well.
Date. I had them here a second ago, but with that, if you wanted to collect an email address, it would have to be, you would have to specify to the user that they would need to, spell out the letters and numbers. So that would essentially be an alphanumeric mini app. Of course, there's other ways to get that information. Like, for example, the use case that Kyle showed you where, it came time to get to update the email address of the customer, and we were able to do that through basically while on the phone, through a omni-channel website that was provided by the system. What is difficult is person names. We can't support person names today in terms of filling in a field. The best that we could do for person names is to provide a snippet of the audio of what the person said, when answering their name. We will support person names, but that product feature is not set to be released for another 6 months at least. So I'm just thinking through like the use cases that you mentioned. We could do the zip code, we could do the email address. I'd love to hear what other, fields, you would like to fill in when building up a customer profile to see which ones that we could solution for out of the box and which ones would have to be sort of a phase 2 deliverable.
Yeah. I think some of my teammates on the call could give a more comprehensive list, but I think it is the things that if you were the leasing office at an apartment community, you would want to know to help prioritize and qualify your leads. So it tends to be name, phone number, email. When are you thinking about moving? How many bedrooms? What are you hoping to spend on rent? And are you bringing any pets?
We can support all of that. Mohammed, not to put you on the spot, but I'm going to some extent. I think that we have about 12 minutes left. Could we go into mini apps and just show we could build out 1 or 2 of the use cases? Again, I didn't see the gentleman who was talking. I'm sorry, who was that?
That's all right. This is Whit.
Whit. Hi, Whit. So Mohammed, if we can maybe, I don't know if you caught the use cases that Whit was sharing with us, but to whatever extent we can maybe build out 1 or 2 here on the fly just to show how easy it is.
Sure thing. Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Mohammed Bhatti. I'm an SC here at Omilia. Can everyone see my screen all right?
Yeah.
Mohammed, so I don't interrupt you as you're going, I think what we would want to show is like a numeric, like show a number of beds, or do you want to bring a cat, yes or no, zip code, something like that is exactly what we would be solving for here.
Yeah, Sure thing.
Thank you.
So this is our numeric, and alphanumeric will look very similar to this, whereas numeric is only collecting numerals. You can see we have our welcome prompts. This initial prompt is where you would request that piece of information, whether it's a reservation number, a number of pets, anything like that. We also have validations built in, right? So before you even proceed any further in the conversation, you can make sure that the input that you're looking for is in fact the input that you're collecting. So by using regular expressions and everything else that you see on this right-hand side here, we can ensure that we're validating the input before we confirm and then go farther down the flow. So you could very well use this for zip code. There's actually an example where I am using a numeric mini app to collect zip code. That's inside of Nice in Contact Studio. Maybe I'll touch on that briefly when we get a chance. We also have yes, no mini app, so you can ask a simple question, and maybe all you're looking for is a simple yes, no. So you can collect that. We have an announcement mini app, and I know we all already briefly touched on the fact that we have intent mini apps as well to capture a customer's intent. To kind of touch on the alphanumeric, like I said, it's very similar to the numeric, except your regular expression is different, and it's been tuned to collect both alpha and numeric values. We also have confirmations built in, hold functionality, agent handling, and error handling. Now, if sorry to be switching so many screens on you, but I kind of want to show you a use case inside of Nice in Contact Studio of how that might come together. So now that we're looking at this script inside of Studio, we can see that I'm initially calling an intent mini app. This one is our COVID intent mini app. So I'm collecting the customer's intent, and if that intent happens to be an inquiry of statistics, well, then I can just call another mini app, which is going to collect their zip code in this situation. So it's calling our numeric mini app, collecting their zip code, and then just transferring them out to an agent. Another script that I've designed here, very simple. You're asking for a serial number, which is an alphanumeric value, followed by a date of birth and transferring out. So it's as easy as, this quick little script to collect the information that you want. And certainly you can stack multiple mini apps on top of one another to create the type of flow that you described. Like I said, we've got announcements, yes, no, date, alphanumeric, numeric, and intent mini apps as well. Quinn, I don't know, I went through that quite quickly.
That's good. I think if you, what would be nice, Mohammed, is if you have any of this set up that we could call a number just to hear, because so basically everyone, the idea here is that in very little time, because as you could see on Mohammed's screen, it's all click and configure and basically type in what you want the questions to be. In very little time, you can basically deploy a solution from CX1 that meets, from what I heard today, most of your needs. Again, with the exception of collecting a person's name, everything else that I heard are use cases that are supported by basically linking together all of these mini apps. So mini apps, you can think of them as Lego blocks. You start with the intent mini app, and then as you can see on Mohammed's screen, you can deploy more mini apps for different use cases, whether it's a yes or no, whether it's to get the date of a move-in, whether you want to give them some type of announcement. All of this functionality is here and available to you guys. So the moral of the story here is this is a very easy to use tool. Of course, Omilia is more than happy to provide, to engage with you guys in sort of a managed service engagement where we would, estimate a number of hours of effort for us to work with you on a design and basically stand up that design in mini apps as you're seeing Mohammed do now. And then, you guys could take over for day 2, meaning that if you wanted to, make changes to your flow, modify the questions, you would have the ability to do that. The other alternative would be if you want to take everything on by yourself from day 1, that is also doable if you have, certainly if you have an in-house resource that is already familiar and efficient in CX1 Studio, with very minimal training from Mohammed. We can work together to provide, a few hours of training so that you guys could do this yourself. But I just wanted to point that out here so that everything that Mohammed was showing, falls into place in terms of how this fits into how we would engage.
Yeah, so that brings up another question. I don't know how common this setup is for y'all, but in a sense, we have 1,000 customers ourselves. And while I think we may be able to start from a very similar template for most of those, I imagine there might be a teeny bit of customization on each one of those. And maybe Brandon can speak better to how we do that today. But I got to imagine because of that, we would need to get to a point where we were pretty self-sufficient on this. And I assume since this is so tightly integrated with Nice in Contact, that however we're doing that today with IVRs, we could do the same sort of copy a template and customize it for each client if we need to.
100%. That is the essence of the idea of why we created mini apps. And not to go too far into the story, but essentially, if you think about what a mini app is, it's the technology and the voice user interface design and the data all packaged up into something that you can configure and deploy and consume. Traditionally, our technology, required hundreds of thousands of dollars to millions of dollars in professional services and, months of delivery time to get something that essentially is equivalent to what we're discussing with you here today off the ground. I can tell you that for other projects where we've deployed the How May I Help You intent mini app with a series of, either numeric or alphanumeric or yes or no's, has been, basically somewhere between, depending on the complexity, between $25,000 and $100,000, which is obviously a far way off from $1 million. So the mini apps are a huge breakthrough. It's a huge breakthrough. And one of the things that we're doing around them today is we're offering Nice in Contact customers their first 30 days for free. So not only can anybody actually, Mohammed, if you want to go to the website here, so anybody can actually go on this website, register for an account. You can link it to your CX1 account. There's literally no barrier of entry for anybody to actually try to get started with this today. That said, for this free trial, you'd get 1,000 minutes free from a developer perspective. But from a commercial perspective, we're also offering a first 30-day free program for In Contact customers. So that basically consists of from the day that you first start sending production traffic to the system, you don't pay on usage for the next 30 days. That offer is good until the end of this quarter, so March 31st, assuming that an order for the service has been signed before then. And then just to go back to your comment, Whit, the idea here is exactly as you stated. So if you have a resource that can become proficient in this, then you can certainly be the master of your universe in terms of managing multiple mini apps for different use cases or lines of business or downstream different segments of customers.
Yeah. So all that's very interesting, very helpful. I have a call in 2 minutes. I can be a couple minutes late. You alluded to one of my other main questions, and I don't know if you want to give actual figures here, but I would love to just understand your pricing structure, your pricing model beyond the 30 days free, which sounds great.
Yeah. So the dollars that I quoted you there, that would basically be equivalent to the one-time professional services effort. If Omilia were to, basically be responsible for the day one deliverable. Once that's live, and after your first 30 days are over, the usage that you would pay It's a per 10-second increment fee for the IVR. So basically every 10 seconds that someone's on the phone, you get a small charge. And then for chat, it's on a per session basis. So it doesn't matter for the chat channel for your website. It doesn't matter how long the conversation is. You pay one single flat fee for each chat conversation or session.
And when you said per 10 seconds on IVR, I'm trying to shift my concept of an IVR, because it sounds like it's entirely possible that the IVR handles the entirety of the caller's request, right? It's not necessarily just an agent.
Yes, so indeed, you're right. It certainly depends. The cost, if you think about it from your cost per call, that can vary greatly depending on what happens during that call, right? So if we build out, let's just say for example, if we're going to go back and forth on, let's say, just to simplify the use case, a questionnaire of 20 questions versus 5, then of course in the scenario of 20 questions, you're going to be on the phone longer than if you were only answering 5. If you're only answering one question, which is the "How may I help you" question, then what we've seen is a typical talk time of somewhere between 20 and 30 seconds. So that would be what I would say you should consider your sort of your base talk time, because it's going to take at least about 10 seconds or so to do the "How may I help you" question, and then think about your response and formulate it.
Yep. I think my last question for today is, and I don't know if we'll be able to get a full understanding of it, given we're sort of out of time. I'm intrigued by your free trial, and so if we were curious to basically see if we can stand anything up that is functional and, for a very specific use case, get one of our existing chat customers live with Omilia as the first point of interaction. Is that theoretically possible with the free trial?
Did I hear you say chat?
Yes.
As in web chat?
Yes.
So in theory, that's possible, but since we've launched this campaign, everybody most of the conversations have been around the IVR.
Okay.
And that's simply because the free trial is based on minutes.
Yep.
So I would say from that perspective, if we could start with the IVR, that would be ideal.
Yeah.
But let me take that back internally and see, just because.
It's all right. I just wanted, that's a good preliminary answer. I don't know that we're, I think there's a couple folks on the team that would be curious to tinker, and I just wanted to get an idea of what would be possible. So that helps.
And that would be Brandon.
Yep.
I'll take it. Kyle, let's take this back internally and sync with the team on what we're offering for the free trial for a chat customer.
Sounds good. I'll make a note of that and we'll get on it.
Okay, so just to highly recap, make sure we talked about the mini apps, the chat, the IVR. We talked about a whole bunch of things. So we clearly will need a better conversation, because depending on the depth of each of the projects depends on lots of pricing. So I will work with Omilia to put together recaps and what's free, what's not, and then we'll look at next steps. Did you guys like the product? What?
Yeah, it was very cool.
Yeah. It could solve a lot of the different problems.
Yeah, I liked the detail you guys went into. That's most appreciated. Thank you.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, everyone have a fabulous weekend, and thanks for joining us, and we'll be in touch. And Omilia team, thank you. You're wonderful as always.
Thanks, everyone.
Guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks for the time.
Bye-bye.
Talk soon.